Today you also have a decent following, right? You command a decent audience. 50,000 by no means is anything that I would consider insignificant. Was there ever an active effort on sort of like building that audience? And what's the story behind just another PM? Like, it's a lot of shift. Even in Zomato, which I know back when you were working, I was in India, the company was very aggressive in terms of its experimentation. And today, Yelp as well, you're leading the whole charter. American Express has been known as a company that itself is very, very, very particular in terms of how it handles products. They were experimenting very rapidly when you were there. You ended up launching just another PM. Is there a connecting thread behind all of it? Like, how did you build that audience? How did things just happen over the years?
So I think there is some connection, maybe positioned a little differently. So let me first, quickly talk about how Just Another PM came into being, and then where it is today, and then I'll kind of double click on the early rapid growth of the companies that I was part of. Around 2019, actually, when I made the move from India to Germany, a lot of people started reaching out to me to just understand two things. One is, hey, how do you transition from India to abroad, and how do you find these opportunities? But also, more importantly and broadly, about, hey, how do you excel as a product manager? Because everybody understands, to get opportunities, you need to be doing well at what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so 2019 and most of 2020 was more around me talking to these people, be it on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, etc., and trying to answer the same question over and over again. So it was at that point of time where I realized that, hey, you know what? It feels like there are just way too many people who might have the same question. Why not just start writing about it? So I started writing about it. That's when the blog, or let's say the formal content creation, came into being. Until that time, there was absolutely no effort or thought into building an audience or even sharing learnings. So 2020 until most of 21 and some part of 22, it was still kind of unstructured in the way, in the sense of that I knew, or I thought I knew, the questions that people have, and if I had answers to those questions, I just wanted to put it out in the world. So this is when I started to become super active on Twitter, LinkedIn, and continued my newsletter, and then it kind of slowly and gradually kept building. So that was the part of, like, let's say the numbers growing, and the larger goal has always been like just trying to answer questions to which I have the answers but others might not, and they might appreciate it. The other funny story is that the name Just Another PM actually is something that I came up with in 2014, which is, at that point of time I was not necessarily creating content, but I just wanted a handle where I actually felt like, hey, I'm just one of the 100 PMs, or 1,000 PMs in India who is kind of clueless, but very aspirational and ambitious and wants to grow and be successful. Like, my mindset was that I'm just another PM today, but I don't want to be. So that's how the handle came into being. Today, it's a lot more formal, a lot more structured, in the sense of I put in a lot of thought and time into creating content, because now there are more people seeing it. So I don't want to share advice that's frivolous or that is not meaningful. You rightly pointed out, like, both Snapdeal and Zomato specifically, I'm going to talk about them. Like, they were the at a very, very high growth phase when I was there. And like you also rightly called out, when you're at that scale and at that pace, experimentation becomes very, very important. At that point of time, I didn't realize it, right? I was running, especially at Zomato, I was running like 10 to 20 experiments every day, but I didn't necessarily sort of put things into context or how this would shape my career, etc. Those two experiences have had the maximum amount of learnings in my life and in shaping how I even today make decisions which are based on data, which are based on objective evidence, but also have some flavor of, a person who's an expert in the space or some kind of product thinking brought into it.